knowing that there were only 5 rounds in this year's draft, there were a lot of free agent players, and the Yankees got themselves not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 free agent pitchers that could have been drafted in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th round. And I'll tell you this right now, in college baseball, you can find a top pitcher in the 9th and 8th round. We've seen it. The Yankees have done it many, many times, and so did the New York Mets. What were your thoughts when the Yankees reached out to you and said that they want to sign you?
Oh, it was surreal. It was a dream come true. Everybody who plays, the game expect, or wishes for a call. And I got the call, it was about just around 11 o'clock Utah time. And I just seen the scout's number popping up on my phone, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. It was kind of, had to take it in for a second before I answered the call.
I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine.
In terms of that whole draft experience, when you were anticipating it, watching that draft, in terms of the draft experience, did you expect to go a little later? Were you surprised when you weren't drafted? And again, after the draft, when again we knew it was only 5 rounds, were you expecting to get a call that quickly as you did from the Yankees?
I didn't expect to get drafted, first of all. Everything that I talked to mostly talked to me about, hey, we want to sign you as a free agent. And, with the Yankees only having 3 picks out of a 5-round draft, they were already cut short anyway. So when I talked to them, it was mostly, just the free agent stuff. And I did not expect to get a call that early. I'm glad I did. It was a long app, a few hours waiting. They told me, pretty sure they could start calling at 7 a.m. Utah time. So I was up at 6:30 and just was kind of staring at my phone, trying to keep myself busy until a call went off. So.
Were you dancing after you heard that they were going to sign you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, they gave me the offer. I had to compose myself again and told them, let me think about it, talk with my family, I'll call you back. And mostly I just kind of, broke down. It's surreal, it's been a long journey, going from a junior college. I actually played football too, my freshman year coming out of high school and college. And so it's been a long journey, and it was just really surreal, and I just kind of broke down for a little bit and regained my composure and called the scout back and told them that I was signed. So.
I'm sure they were thinking, this guy tell me that he was going to really call us back? I mean, we're the New York Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had to compose myself. Yeah, I had to. For sure.
Well, that's great. We are talking to the Yankees free agent pitching prospect, Jarod Lessar. Jarod, when you look at the Yankees organization, this is a winning organization. Probably, if you look at all professional sports, the winning organization in all of professional sports. The boss ran this organization for almost 50 years, and now the team is run by his son, Hal. When you look at this team and you look at some of the pitchers over the years, like guys like Andy Pettitte and guys that they brought in, David Wells and Jimmy Key and some of these guys that helped them win a championship. When you look at the type of pitcher that you are, could you help this team in the future? Do you believe that you can help this team win a championship in the near future?
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited and I'm extremely grateful and humble to be a member of such, like you said, a prolific organization. And, they kind of gave me my plan, with the, journey to making a debut and, really just trusting the process, going to put my head down and just work as hard as I possibly can. And any situation or any time that I'm called up and whatever, if it's a reliever, a starter, any way that I can help the team in any way, win games, win a championship, I'm more than willing to do it, and I can't wait to start the journey.
Which player, both in the Yankees farm system and the current Yankees roster, which is very good, which player are you most looking forward to playing with and why?
So in the farm system, I'm actually really excited to play with middle infielders named Oliver Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
And he got drafted last year by the Yankees, and he was my rival at the University of Utah. He was actually one of my hosts when I went on my official visit to Utah too, so I got to meet him. We played against each other for a year, and then now we're playing together on the Yankees. So it's really cool. He's a super energetic player. Always loved playing against him. Great kid. He was an awesome host, and I'm really excited to play with him. And for the big league roster, I mean, everybody wants to meet, Aaron Judge. Everybody wants to meet Garrett Cole. I mean, I couldn't pick just one single person that I would be excited to meet and hang out with on the big league roster. I mean, Stanton. I mean, everybody. DJ. Everybody's a superstar. and I mean, I couldn't pick just one guy.
Jarod will be in the locker room saying, "Could you sign my baseball?" He'd be walking to every single player, every single one of them. They're all superstars.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, for sure.
We are talking to Yankees free agent pitching prospect Jarod Lessar. Now, Jarod, power pitching has really developed in the MLB, and a lot of people are looking for the guy that throws 96, 97 mile per hour fastballs, that can throw a curveball 88 and a changeup close to 85. When you look at your style of pitching, what is your pitch? What is the pitch that stands out for all the Yankee fans to know about? And where do you see yourself as a relief pitcher or a starting pitcher as you move forward as a single A, double A, or triple A player all the way to the major leagues?
So yeah, I would say my most prolific pitch is probably my cut fastball. That's the pitch I get a lot of weak contact with. It's kind of my go-to pitch. It's what I throw for my fastball majority. I'm not a guy who's going to come in there and throw, the 97 and 96 by you. I topped that 94 this past year. But movement on every pitch, like I said, the cut fastball, got a little cut and sting to it. I think that's probably my best pitch for sure. And I see myself probably doing a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit of both to start, but I think it's a long run of reliever, maybe a closer type situation. My velocity's up coming out of the pen than it is obviously in the start, having to go extended innings. So I think the velocity would be up coming out of the pen, and I really could see myself, being a relief pitcher for sure.
Is there any pitch that you want to learn and throw well before you get to the major leagues? And if so, what is it?
I really like to throw a two-seam fastball too with my cut fastball. I've been trying to work on a two-seam right now in the off season, especially with the pandemic. I get a lot of time to just play low catch and really work on things. So I'm trying to get the two-seam down right now so I can get a fastball that moves both sides of the plate.
When you look at so many pitchers that have come to the major leagues, played college baseball, even high school baseball with Tommy Johns, and it's been a pandemic in baseball because every big top pitcher has gotten it, except Max Scherzer. We've been talking about this. Every single one of these top pitchers have gotten it. Now, when you look at your style of pitching, your power pitching, do you think that a lot of these coaches, a lot of parents have pushed their kids at a young age to really throw the fastball, throw the curveball at a young age where it has affected their arm strength and really affected their UCL?
Yeah, yes and no. I feel like, at a young age, you definitely shouldn't be overthrowing. I feel like that can definitely contribute to guys getting Tommy Johns early in high school. A guy might have thrown, 100, 120 pitches every outing in high school. They're probably their best pitcher. They got to throw a whole game in order for them to get a win. These guys who are, draft prospects and guys who are signed into big colleges. But I really feel like some of the softness too is with coaching and arm angle. A lot of guys it has to do with their style of throwing. Maybe their slot that they come out of, especially at a young age. And I feel like, without trying to throw a breaking ball too early, maybe without the right form or without the right throwing motion, can really kind of mess up your arm. So I feel like it's kind of both in my mind and how I look at it. I feel like it's one, guys who overthrow or they overwork or, they don't work enough and then all of a sudden they try to make a huge jump. They take like a couple weeks off and then they're saying, hey, I'm ready to throw a full game. Or you get guys, like I said, who just didn't have the right mechanics and just have been damaging their arms from the way that they're thrown. And I've seen both throughout my playing career. And so I feel like it's hard to really kind of pick one of those. At a young age, you definitely shouldn't be overthrowing, but there should be no problem when you're up to, college level. You should be able to throw, close to, 90 innings a year, 100 pitches at a time. As long as you're taking care of yourself too, and the post throwing, it's huge too. Get the ice, get the stretches, get your massages and everything that you need to do.
Shifting back to BYU, again, one of the challenges that you had to face there was the altitude. We talk about it all the time with Coors Field being the biggest hitters park in baseball, and where you played at BYU is about 4,500 feet. Did it affect did it affect pitching in general whenever you played in that park for both you and for opponents as well, kind of like it did in Coors Field? And if so, how much did it impact it?
It impacted it impacted it a little bit. I would say the biggest thing that impacted me was your off curveball. I mean, I feel like my off speed wouldn't move as much, playing in Utah or any other high elevation place. Obviously, if you make a mistake and a guy gets one up in the air, it always has the ability to just carry out with the wind and because of the elevation. It kind of definitely plays into it. But I never really. I mean, I definitely, like I said, the only problems that I really had playing in Utah the whole time was just the curveball movement. And it was always great when I would go to, a place that was like on the coast or something like that, because I'd have, another inch or two on my breaking ball, and it was great.
We are talking to Yankees free agent pitching prospect Jarod Lessar. Now, we talked to Blaine Ubeda and Osha Gabonia, two guys that were also signed by the New York Yankees. Ocean told me he had 5 pitches and 3 of them dominant pitches. And Blaine said he had 3 excellent pitches. Now, when you look at your style of pitching, do you have a particular pitch, which you said you do, but is there a particular pitch that you think could be dominant in the major leagues, and what would that pitch be?
My secondary stuff, as far as I throw, I think one of the things that really caught interest is everything that I talked to is the high spin rate that I have on my breaking balls. With the RPMs and as far as spin rate is I have really high spinning breaking balls. Harder to pick up from what, scouts have told me and everything like that. So I really feel like my off speed moving forward, kind of be my go-to. I throw kind of like your basic 12-6 with a high spin rate. That is really kind of like, I've thrown the same curveball ever since I started throwing the curveball. So, I can throw it in any channel, any situation, pretty much whenever I want it. And then I've really developed a hard slider that's been my wipeout, kind of my put-out pitch. At BYU, got a lot of swing and misses on it, and I was throwing it, right around mid-8.
Well, I asked Blaine what kind of music he listened to. He said country. Ocean said he likes hip-hop music, NF. Is there a particular artist and a particular kind of music that you like to listen to, especially when you're getting ready for a game?
I like a little bit of everything to get me into a game. Something that I really listen to a lot before games is Kid Cudi. I'm really into Kid Cudi.
Really?
But I listen to a lot of things. I'm from a small farm town, so obviously, I love my country. I'm more of an older country guy. I'm into, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings.
You really listen to Johnny Cash?
Oh, Johnny Cash is my all-time favorite. I'm considered getting a tattoo of Johnny Cash.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? My father's band actually opened up for Johnny Cash when he was in Vegas years and years ago. Years and years ago, before he passed away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, man. Yeah, I listen to a lot of Johnny Cash, but usually pregame it's some Kid Cudi, it's some hip hop. I got to get a little fired up, but I can't get too fired up. I can listen to the hardcore rock. I can't get to any crazy dubstep. It's kind of got to be mellow, and that's why I think Kid Cudi has that kind of hip hop, but it's kind of like a mellow hip hop.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I got from Kid Cudi to Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. When you're a young kid. You got to be about 19 years old, 18 years old. You're a kid, and you're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just what was always playing, man. It was, me and my dad and my grandpa, we'd go fishing on the weekends, and it was what they listened to, and it's just, I grew up singing the songs, I grew up listening to them, and so I just never really stopped, My grandpa would take me fishing 2-3 times a week. We'd get in his truck. I would drive to the lake, to the pond, and it was Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Marty Robbins. Goodness, I could, it was all of them all the time. And so it just kind of became a part of, it was like I never wasn't not listening to them.
I'm kind of surprised. Of all the people that you picked, you went with Kid Cudi, which that's like right out of the back pocket. Nobody picks Kid Cudi, but I like Kid Cudi. He's great. But I would have never thought. I would have thought like for instance, when we were talking to Chaz, he was like 50 Cent, Tupac, all these different guys. But you go Kid Cudi and then Johnny Cash. Figure that one out.
Yeah. I thought, yeah.